Imagine being in front of a group of people to give a speech or to play a sport game. Or being in the classroom where you need to pass an important exam. Or when your dream company calls you for the job interview. But you ended up spoiling everything. You forgot the speech. You forgot the answers in the exam. You missed the shot in the game. And you didn't do well in your job interview. Did this stress you up? That's not something you want to feel in an important situation. But you can't avoid it. Because when a serious situation arises at work, your first instinct may be to panic. Unfortunately, severe anxiety and stress can result in a complete meltdown. Today, our lifestyles are fueled by stress. We rush from one place to the next, skimp on sleep, and work late to meet deadlines. In fact, we're more stressed now than ever before, and it's making us sick. Many of the world's greatest achievers, including entrepreneurs, athletes and artists, could not have reached their level of success without learning how to stay extremely calm under pressure. They have the ability to develop and maintain a particular state of psychological readiness, a mental preparedness they summon on demand. That's why in this video, I will show you how to keep calm when you are stressed. But before that, have you ever asked the more important question? Why are you even stressed? Why are we stressed? We've all heard the warnings. Our busy lives are sending us into a spiral of stress. Health experts around the world are telling us to slow down, take time off, and implement more work-life balance. Many of us have taken up yoga and meditation to calm our nerves, or are simply popping pills to help us get some sleep. All of this raises the question, why are we so stressed? According to author Richard Sutton, our physical and mental well-being depends on our ability to establish balance in our lives. If we're balanced, we're able to move easily between states of arousal and regeneration, or activity and rest. The problem is that the modern society makes it impossible for us to maintain our balance for several reasons. For one thing, being constantly connected via technology makes it harder for us to defend our free time. We're available 24 hours a day to respond to work calls or emails, or reply to friends or family that need our support. As a result, our schedules are brimming with things to do and people to attend to, while time for ourselves is often left off the list. Another reason is this. Admiration of success and an intolerance of failure is fast becoming the norm in our society. Whether we realize it or not, all of us are pushing ourselves to be bigger and better than ever before. At the same time, our desire to compete and ultimately succeed is steadily increasing. Now, longer working hours, extended work weeks, and less annual leave are commonplace in working environments. Is it any wonder that our stress levels are skyrocketing? The bad news is that it's only getting worse. According to a study completed by researchers at the Yale University School of Medicine and the University of California, Los Angeles, the average person in developed society experiences between 4 and 5 episodes of stress every week. For many of us, life often feels like walking a tightrope. We try to move forward steadily, but personal and professional pressures always threaten to push us off balance. That's why learning to manage stress and even to harness it for our benefit is crucial. We'll take a look at this later. Would it surprise you to know that work is the primary source of stress in our lives? Probably not. We're all guilty of working our fingers to the bone and leaving very little space for the me time. But few of us take time to reflect on just why our jobs are so stressful. What I want to say is this. Feeling out of control is the reason why you're stressed at work. In the Whitehall studies of 1967, Professor Michael Marmot monitored 28,000 British civil servants over a 40-year period. The studies confirmed for the first time that stress in the workplace directly impacts people's health and lifespan. He also proved that an employee's rank within an organization affects their stress levels. You might be thinking this sounds obvious. Of course, senior employees will experience more stress than their juniors. They have more responsibilities, more people to manage, and more severe consequences if they mess up. However, the Whitehall studies proved the opposite. Lower-ranking employees had the most stress and the worst health, and a higher risk of premature death. In fact, their risk of mortality was 300% higher than their senior employees. But why? Well, the second of the Whitehall studies found that lower-ranking employees had less social support, less variety within their work, and most importantly, a lack of control over decision-making, compared with those in more senior positions. Since then, many researchers have built on the idea that a lack of control affects employee well-being. For example, a Danish 2008 review of 16 studies which involved 63,000 participants linked this feeling of powerlessness in the workplace with depressive symptoms and major depressive episodes. The impact that stress has on people's mental health also has a knock-on effect on businesses and the economy. Stressed employees are absent from work more and more, productivity is declining, and as a result, the bottom line of many businesses is affected. The stress response does a number of things. It releases energy, enhances muscle power, boosts mental acuity, and even promotes pain resistance. It's one of the main reasons why humans have been able to survive all these years. Our body's stress response is divided into two waves: the hypothalamic-pituitary-adrenal axis and the hypothalamic-pituitary-adrenal axis. The first wave is the fight-or-flight reaction issued by the hypothalamus, our brain's control center. This reaction rapidly activates the sympathetic nervous system and releases the adrenaline hormone. First, let's talk about what happens to your body when adrenaline is released. It elevates the heart rate, improves circulation to the brain and limbs, releases energy into the bloodstream, and kicks the immune system into action to protect you from infection. It also heightens your sense of smell and improves your eyesight. Then comes the second wave of the stress response, where the surge in adrenaline triggers your adrenal glands to produce cortisol. This hormone helps to regulate the immune system's function by balancing out the effect of adrenaline. Without cortisol, our immune system would become overactive and harmful to the body as a result. At this point, you might be thinking the stress response sounds great. Who wouldn't want increased immunity and superhuman senses? The thing is, activating the stress response can be great in the short term, but in the long term it can be damaging to our health. This is because cortisol and adrenaline, which are released into the bloodstream when our bodies detect a threat, can be toxic to the body in high amounts. For example, chronically raised cortisol can lead to a number of problems like digestive issues, weight gain and memory loss. Adrenaline, on the other hand, raises your blood pressure and can increase your risk of a heart attack or stroke. So, what can we do about this? How to keep calm when you are stressed? Well, the short answer is that leaders of organizations have to improve their working environments. They can start by giving their employees more control over their work and more involvement in company decision-making. Managers can also increase their support to employees and make an effort to stamp out antisocial behavior in the office. Think of it this way. Reducing stress in the workplace benefits everyone. It boosts the health and happiness of employees, enhances productivity, and improves overall business performance. Sometimes being stressed is just inconvenient. You can't think or concentrate, and your mind feels like a tangled web of thoughts and worries. But what if there was some way of switching stress off? Fortunately, science has discovered the off button of stress. A way to shut down your stress response when things get to be too much. How can you achieve this? It's simple. You need to activate the vagus nerve. Let's start with what the vagus nerve actually is. It happens to be one of the longest and most influential nerves in the body. It travels from the top of the skull behind the ears, all the way through the front of the chest, and down toward the abdomen. It helps our brains communicate with our organs like the heart and lungs and other systems like the digestive tract. But it can also calm the body after a fight-or-flight state caused by adrenaline. So, how does it work? Think of it like this. Activating the vagus nerve is kind of like stretching a muscle after you exercise. When we stretch a tight hamstring, it restores the muscles to their normal resting length. As a result, the strains of exercise are reduced and the benefits enhanced. This is exactly what happens when we activate the vagus nerve after a period of stress. Doing this dramatically lowers levels of cortisol, reduces inflammation, and helps bring our minds back to a state of balance. Fortunately, there are many activities we can do to increase vagal activation. Some of these include meditation, praying, controlled breathing exercises, and swimming. Yoga is also a great way to activate the vagus nerve. When practiced on a daily basis, it's been proven to reduce cortisol by 40%. Yoga has become increasingly popular as a stress buster in the modern world. Not only is it relatively simple, it includes breathing exercises, deep relaxation techniques, meditation, and physical postures that get the blood pumping. It also helps to release tension, promote physical strength and flexibility, and improve your emotional well-being. So, it turns out that we can switch stress off, it just takes a bit of practice. When you feel yourself getting stressed, don't just sit there and let it linger. Instead, go for a swim, go for a walk, or even sit down and meditate. If you're wondering where to begin, the best way is to start small with incremental changes. On the diet side of things, it's recommended to limit coffee and stop drinking alcohol, as both elevate cortisol and stimulate adrenaline. Instead, you can drink green tea and cocoa. Not only do they stabilize the stress response, but they also strengthen and protect the three systems most impacted by chronic stress like immune, nervous, and cardiovascular. Exercise is also a great way to repair your body after a bout of stress. It helps improve the functionality of the brain and promotes hormonal shifts that enhance our physical vitality. There's no hard and fast rule for what exercise you choose, but even taking a 10 to 20-minute walk outside can be beneficial for the body, especially if it's sunny. Moderate sunlight exposure has been proven to beat the blues and boost the immune system. By implementing a few simple things in your daily routine, you can build up your stress resilience, but it's important to be patient. Any valuable life changes take time and effort, but the more work you put in, the more likely you'll be to see results. Use stress to your advantage. Scientists believe that acute stress, that is stress experienced in the short term, can be positive. It can help us adapt to change, take risks and find solutions in challenging circumstances. For many of us, the life of a professional athlete looks pretty glamorous. They have large salaries, adoring fans, celebrity lifestyles and a job they love. However, behind the scenes, professional athletes suffer hardships too. In addition to their exhausting training schedules, they have to deal with unfair team politics, high public expectations and controlling coaches. They also have to cope with endless travel and separation from their families. But athletes seem to manage to avoid chronic stress and maintain an exceptional level of physical and mental health. So what's their secret? Athletes have a remarkable resilience to ongoing life challenges and chronic stress for a number of reasons. For starters, they're trained to see stress as a positive experience, a healthy dose of pressure that can spur them on to succeed. They're also taught to channel stress in a healthy way by reaching out to their network of coaches, trainers, and sports psychologists for support. When it comes to managing physical stress, diet and exercise naturally play a role. An athlete's nutritional intake is designed to promote recovery, reduce inflammation, and provide energy. That's why they consume the best foods and limit their intake of caffeine and alcohol. To soothe tired muscles, athletes follow stretching routines and get regular massages, and they also follow relaxation protocols. Meditation, yoga, and breathing exercises are used to calm their nerves and boost their concentration. Basically, athletes are like a well-oiled machine, where all the component parts work together harmoniously to keep the engine running. It's no surprise that they have longer lifespans and less risk of disease. So, how can you follow their example? Well, you might not have time to get a weekly massage or cook up healthy meals every day, but simply tidying up your diet and taking time to relax can work wonders. It also might help to change the way you view stress. Scientists have proven that, when a stressful event is combined with the perception that stress is bad for your health, it increases the risk of premature mortality by 43%. Basically, worrying that stress is bad for you simply makes you more stressed. So whenever you do feel stress creeping in, don't add to your worries by thinking about how it's bad for your health. Instead, view it as a positive experience that will spur you on to achieve your goals. The key message in this video is that stress is unavoidable, but there are practical ways to manage it. Making incremental changes to your lifestyle, learning to shut down your stress response, and taking more time for yourself can help you build up your stress resilience. However, to be successful in managing your stress levels, you'll need to shift your perspective of what stress is. Instead of viewing it as a negative thing, think of it as a positive experience that can help you reach your goals. Alright guys, that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and click the like button. Also, let me know in the comments below what you learned from this video, or if you have a suggestion for a future video. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.